Jai Baba. When beloved Baba dropped his body on 31st January 1969, I came here with my wife and mother-in-law the next day morning at about 4 o'clock. At that time, I did not know much about Baba in the sense I heard about him through my wife. I used to go to Bombay Center for some times, but there was no close contact with any of his close ones at Manli and other people. When we came here, I thought we'll be staying just for a day and going back on the next day after the body was interned in the tomb. But as it has happened, the period of internment went on extending till finally it was decided that it will be done on the 7th of February. And during this 1 week, I had an opportunity to talk to many people and know more about him, and which confirmed my faith in him as he is what he says that he is the God man. And that is why for me, Amartithi is a very important event in whole Baba calendar, I would say, to remember him constantly. We do remember him constantly all the time. Whenever something happens, we need to say, oh Baba, oh Baba. But during this 2 days period, and when we see people coming here gradually, in increased numbers, initial Amartithi there were 300, 400 people, but now it has gone to about 20,000-25,000 people who come and stay here for 2 days, and there are a lot more people who come just for the day on 31st. And when I see their love for the beloved, I feel overwhelmed with this sort of love. This doesn't happen anywhere. For example, we keep silence from 12 to 12:15 in the afternoon in memory of Baba's dropping his body. There are about 30,000-40,000 people around the tomb. And for 15 minutes, the pin drop silence. Only thing you hear, sometimes a child cries, sometimes somebody coughs, or the birds chirp. See, when 40,000 people are around, it's very, very difficult to hear a bird song. But here it happens that during the 15 minutes, and that is the most important thing which I believe, that all these people, when in collective silence of 30,000-40,000 people, is Baba definitely some universal work which Baba used to say that I am doing through my silence. Why he kept silence? One thing he said, I have given enough words during my previous advents, so there is nothing more to say in this advent, but I have come to remind you. I have come not to teach but to awaken. But this silence is special significance in the sense that when all this big, huge crowd assembled here keeps silence, there must be something, some power must be definitely generated through that silence, which is good for the entire world. That is what I believe. This 2 days events is managed mostly by our volunteers who come from all over India, and even the people who come from different countries other than India also share the work in during Amartithi, whatever work they can do. And without their help, it would not be possible to manage this Amartithi people's accommodation, food, their comfort, the systematic, the queue for darshan, their safety. All these things are impossible to manage if we don't have this big volunteer force who come with full dedication. They are prepared to work round the clock, even if necessary. Normally we give them 2 shifts in the day of 3 hours each, but if need be, they are prepared to chip in at any time when they are actually not supposed to do some duty. For example, on 31st morning we light the dhuni at 7 o'clock. People start queuing up for the dhuni darshan right from 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And about 8 to 10,000 people are there by the time the dhuni is lit. And there is a huge queue. Not only impossible to manage this crowd without the active help of volunteers. And if you do not manage, there could be stampede, there could be something happen, some mishap could happen. But people, all these 8 to 10,000 people take Dhuni Darshan in an orderly way without any mishap. This is also a very important thing, and this can be done only because of the dedication of these volunteers. About 150 volunteers are there running around, keeping the people in order, see that nobody sneaks in the queue, that queue doesn't get disturbed. And this queue runs from say 7 o'clock when the Dhuni is lit till 9 o'clock, about 2 hours. There is a constant stream of people coming for Dhuni Darshan. And only with this dedicated help from the volunteers, we are able to manage this queue in an orderly way. Similarly, is it the Samari Darshan? We issue tokens for each group. About 500 to 550 tokens are issued in each number, and those people are called, they are made to sit in one enclosure, and when the previous group is over, they are put in the queue for the in the enclosure for the darshan, and next number is announced which comes in the another enclosure. And in an orderly fashion, they go and have darshan. There is no rush, nobody is pushed around. And this, if you go to many shrines, the pushing around and pulling around takes place. This doesn't happen here. And that is why people feel very happy that when they come for darshan, they can have the darshan at peace without any problem. This is also a very important thing according to me for this Amartithi. And as the Amartithi is growing, so is the number of volunteers growing, and with growing number of volunteers, we are able to manage everything. Same is the case with medical services. When the people come, there are definitely some people fall down, some have made some accidents, some have some problem, but we have got medical facilities at 3 different locations, and there are dedicated doctors who come as volunteers. We have got our own doctors also, but apart from that, a lot of nursing staff, doctors, they come as volunteers and they work round the clock, right from the 30th morning till 1st afternoon, till the people go back. The medical services are available. Anybody, anything happens, immediately he can get the good medical help, and people feel very happy about it. This is also a very wonderful thing that happens during Amartithi. This is also out of dedication of people. Without dedication, this will not happen. So ultimately, when Baba says that what you should do is, Baba says real happiness lies in making others happy. And all these people who come here to serve people through beloved Baba, and they also feel very happy when they give this service, and the people who receive this service also feel very happy. And none of our volunteers take pride in this, that I am doing this thing, I am doing this. No, it doesn't happen. They come here and it's a pleasure for them. And that is what is most important thing to me about this entire Amartithi. The people who gather here, who work here, they feel their faith in Baba is reinvented, I would say. Every year they feel, yes, they come closer and closer to Baba. That is what is most important for